And our main character, Ichigo Kurosaki, after fighting against Ukiura Shipper and winning because of his, inner demon coming to save him, right? He, found Yami and he was going to fight against Yami, but then they were like, no, Ichigo, you need to go to the world of the living. That's where you're actually needed. That's where your efforts will be placed, as nobody else can fight against Aizen but him. He gets there because Unohana takes him there. She heals him, recoups him while he's on the way. He gets to Aizen at full power, basically, but he's still not enough. He fights against Gin Ichimaru, who actually told him and showed him that he wasn't enough. Gin Ichimaru was confident that he could even, possibly beat Ichigo at his current state. He was like, no, you still have further to go, and you don't have enough time to do it. So you might as well just give up. Ishin, goddamn, I'm watching Soul Eater on my, downtime, so I was like saying other stuff. But Ishin Kurosaki was like, all right, son, now we're in the Dangai Precipice world. I'll feed it my energy so that, the cleaner don't come. But you, or so we don't get, swallowed up by the Dangai Precipice world. You are going to go inside yourself and, fight against Zangetsu. That's what he did. He fought against Zangetsu, but in Bankai form. He saw a young Zangetsu, because that was Tensa Zangetsu that manifested within his inner world. And his whole world was water, because Zangetsu was sad, because he knew of what it meant when Ichigo was going to have to learn Final Getsu Tensho, which is a powerful technique, and that's a good move. But then they would lose that connection they have together. Basically you wouldn't be a Soul Reaper anymore after he uses this attack. So Zangetsu wasn't happy that, Ichigo was going to leave him afterwards, but he had to do it because that's what Ichigo wanted to do, and Zanpakuto usually follow, and he calls to their Soul Reaper. So he was like, okay, I'll help you do this, but this is going to be it. After this, you won't be a Soul Reaper anymore. Ichigo didn't give a fuck. At this point, Aizen needed to be defeated. So then he goes back to the, world of the living, and he's like, physically strong, fast, and everything else. He can even match Aizen in those categories. But he's all of his, Soul powers and Ryatsu is all sealed in his sword, which is fused to his arm. And he's fighting against Aizen, Sosuke Aizen. And he's doing really well. Aizen thinks that his attacks are the ones that are, blowing away mountains and shit, but it's really Ichigo's power doing that. Ichigo could grab him and throw him to the countryside where they wouldn't attack, their, battle wouldn't get other people involved. Shit like that. Ichigo was really flexing during that time. Aizen tried to box him in with, Hado, Kurohitsugi. I know that one, the name of it. The black box is what it's called, Black Coffin. And he just broke through Black Coffin. And this wasn't just any Black Coffin. This was one that could erase his existence essentially. But he was he broke out of it. Then he moved on to the next thing. He tried to choke him out and kill him that way. Boom. And then he was like, I'll end this with one attack. Mugetsu form and Final Getsu Tensho. Ichigo lost all his Soul Reaper powers. Aizen was still alive because of Hogyoku. He got recoup. So Kisuke, being the smart guy he is, placed a Kido spell within a Kido spell, and then Ichigo hitting him with that Final Getsu Tenshu finally lodged it deep enough inside of his body to where it would activate. And then essentially it was the work of Ichigo, mostly Ichigo, and then Kisuke as well, that sealed Aizen away and gave him his L. And then after that, Ichigo lost his Soul Reaper powers, and he became a regular person for a little bit. So, but before that, and when he was fighting against Aizen, Ichigo's strength 98, speed 98, 97 for his durability, and 98 for his endurance, 99 for his intelligence, and then 90 for his intelligence. My bad, 90 for his experience, 97 for his close skills, and then 98 for his range skills, 96 for his recoup, and then 99 for his hacks. So overall power score is a 96.1. Be cool, calling on the corner.